got a chance to be pretty good. Maybe that tells our players, hey, we got a chance to be pretty good, but we also know that we can get beat, just like almost anybody can get beat nowadays.
All right, what did we learn from that? They're going to be pretty good, but maybe pretty bad as well. Steve Spurrier set to begin his 10th season at South Carolina, and of course he has seen it all. Spurrier has been through a lot as a head coach, from college to the pros, both the NFL and the USFL, but like all of us, he's eager to get the season started, and it never gets old. Season opener here to set up Thursday's opener against Texas A&M, one of the voices of the Gamecocks, and our South Carolina insider, Andy Demetra. So, Andy, some big shoes to fill here at quarterback this year. Connor Shaw left as the winningest quarterback in school history. How will this offense, though, be different with Dylan Thompson at the wheel?
Well, I don't think you're going to see as much of a running presence from Dylan Thompson as you saw out of Connor Shaw, who did leave not only as South Carolina's all-time winningest quarterback, the all-time most accurate passer in South Carolina history, but he also gained the most rushing yards of any South Carolina quarterback in school history. And those are big shoes to fill also from an accuracy standpoint. Dylan Thompson, for his career, only 55% completion percentage. He doesn't have the same touch on his deep balls that Connor Shaw showed last year. But the good news is for Dylan Thompson, he doesn't need it to be Connor Shaw, because it begins with a very sturdy offensive line up front, a very deep and powerful punishing backfield. He doesn't need to make maybe as many plays by himself as Connor Shaw needed to the last couple of years for South Carolina to be successful.
Just be a good manager of the game. We hear that a lot. Doug Chapman is here, and Doug, a year ago, boy, we just missed it. The hype around this game, Manziel versus Clowney, would have been crazy. So without those two players, who has the advantage when the Aggies have the football?
Yeah, when I step back and look at it, when the Aggies have the football, what they've got to do is they've got to make sure that offense around Hill protect him. He's not Johnny Manziel. He plays in that Kevin Sumlin system. We've seen that system when he was at Houston. He brought it over to Texas A&M. It's been very, very successful. Now, what you're going to see is an offense that's going to look the same exact way, but with different faces. But I want to give the edge to South Carolina because Dylan Thompson is a quarterback to me that has shown in-game experience. He knows what he's doing. Hill, we haven't seen what he can do when you put him out there against a team like South Carolina. But they're going to have playmakers. Speedy Noyle's a guy they're very, very high on. He gets out in space. He can cause some problems. And that linebacking core for South Carolina will be tested. They've had some issues there. Clowney didn't put up huge numbers last year. So we're talking about him not being a part of this matchup. But they didn't really need him last year. And South Carolina had a pretty good defense. I think the edge is going to go to South Carolina because they have the experience at the quarterback position.
Well, you're right about that, Doug. There is no Jadeveon Clowney, and you mentioned his numbers. They were nowhere near the levels they were when he was a sophomore, but disruption still was production for Clowney because of all the attention that he attracted when he was rushing the passer. And this is the first year in really the last 5 or 6 that South Carolina enters a season without a proven pass rusher. They're going to have to lean on that linebacking core, which was very untested at the beginning of the season last year, turned into his strength because lurking behind them is a defensive secondary that has caused a lot of hand-wringing among Gamecock fans this offseason. It's almost entirely reconstructed. They have a true freshman in Al Harris Jr. starting at one cornerback spot, a senior in Bryson Williams, who has been widely used as a safety for his career at the other spot. 2 safeties who between them don't have any career starts. But everybody's looking for a magic number as we get to the nitty-gritty before kickoff. Here's one nobody's really talked about, guys. Last year, Texas A&M was 4th in the nation in yards per play, 7.34. The Gamecocks over the last 2 seasons are 7-1 against teams that ranked in the top 25 in yards per play. So they have shown the ability to shut down these high-octane offenses before.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the South Carolina defense is overall better statistically this year than they were last year. Yes, they lose some star power, especially with Jadeveon Clowney being in the NFL, but I think everyone else is going to pick that slack up. Wouldn't be surprised if they're still good, if not better.
We will wait and see with eager anticipation. Andy, thanks very much. Doug, thanks to you as always as well. That's a 6 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Speaking of kickoff, our live game coverage begins here on Campus Insiders this weekend. I'll be in Albuquerque, where New Mexico will open the season against UTEP. Join us live beginning at 5 o'clock Pacific, only on CampusInsiders.com.